Good evening. Welcome to my daily Facebook Live. My name is Barry Selby. This is Messages from the Masculine, number 165. I am a best-selling author, speaker, and relationship attraction expert, and also a passionate champion for the divine feminine, and what do I do? I help women. That's what I do. I help strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business. And today's topic is inspired by some conversations today, one with a client, well, actually with a couple of clients, and some other thinking today about this topic about thinking versus feeling. How do you do love? How do you express love? How do you love? That's a good question. If you're here for the first time, I do these daily broadcasts every day. Daily broadcasts every day makes total sense, doesn't it? You think by now I'll get it straight, but I keep making these up, so it is what it is. So this is a topic I want to throw out there because I realized in speaking to a couple of people today that some people look at their relationship paradigm as a thought process versus a feeling process. And I'm not going to say which is right or wrong, that we may get to as it unfolds, but I want to speak to this from a point of view of what guides you when you make decisions in your relationships. One conversation I had today with somebody was, and say this, very much attached to thinking it's the right way of doing it. Thank you, I appreciate the feedback. And by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, this was done on Facebook Live first, so I'm responding to comments on the screen that you can't see. So watch it on Facebook Live next time. This is my daily Facebook Live, by the way, for those just joining. But the topic today is really one about people's decision-making in relationship. Because in the area of relationships, people have this thing about, well, I think it's the best choice to make. Maybe, maybe not. Secondly, people go, well, I go with my gut feeling. Is that really your heart? I mean, to be blunt, we tend to isolate our decisions about relationships and a lot of things in life to different parts of the body. So gut feeling, intuition, my heart tells me this, I think I should do that. It's all messed up. So when it comes to relationships, I believe, and this is my perspective, of course, it's my Facebook Live, I'll say what I want. So if you're watching, that's what you're going to get. But from what I've experienced, my experience and background in studying this stuff, I see a lot of people who make decisions about relationships where they think and this is the key, they think they're coming from their heart. But obviously if they're thinking, they're not coming from their heart. They come from the head. And they're running programming that really speaks from a younger place. And so their heart yearning is not really the heart speaking, because the heart doesn't yearn. Our heart, if you've done anything with heart math, or studied the relationship or paradigm between who we are as a mental being versus a human being, and how we think versus we feel, our heart has a field of power that is 10 to 20 times more powerful than our head. So when we think that we feel good, it's, to be blunt, kind of bullshit. Because many people who are feeling love aren't really feeling it. So the idea about thinking versus feeling when it comes to love, many people are confused. So I'm just giving you some input to think about this and feel about this too. So this relationship paradigm, or I should say the relationship choice that people make, where they think the best choice for them is going to be with this person, is usually based upon logic, programming, and other stuff too. At the same time, many people are thinking that it's the emotion that's drawing them. And a lot of times emotion is also tied to thinking. Yes, I'm going to tie a lot to the brain. Our heart is a very special instrument, methodology, device, functional way of expressing that will get us where we want to go. But most of us don't connect to it. I didn't realize I was going to go here, but I'm going to go this direction. So let me break down how we think about things. For most people, our feelings are up here. Yes, not here, up here, because most feelings are emotional. And emotions are based upon beliefs, judgments, and other points of view which are thought-based. Our feelings, let me say another way. When you feel deeply, that can connect you to your heart. For most people in a relationship, they're tied to an emotional expression, and say this in a better way. They're tied to a construct that they were raised with. Now, I talked about this before, about how our programming for a relationship happens in our childhood. Yes, our paradigm for a relationship is programming in our childhood. And a lot of times what happens in our adult life is based upon what happened when we were 5 years old. Isn't that fun? It is, because what happens just to give you the quick cliff notes of what I said before in other broadcasts, is that from age 0 to 7 years old, we take on the world around us and learn, using our midbrain, because our subconscious is in there, the way the world works from what we observe. We don't decide about it, we don't think about it, we don't process it, we just take it right in. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of funny how feelings are derivatives of thoughts and values, because they are. When you truly are in your heart, it's a place of vibration that you'll feel different in, but most people don't know how to get there. I'm not going to teach you that now. I'm just going to give you the idea that it's there, so you maybe think about it. Think about, I keep saying think about it, which is obviously putting you back in your brain, but at least you can contemplate, let's try that word, how it be to be in your heart, really in your heart, not just thinking you're in love, because that's a whole different paradigm. Anyway, to finish my earlier thought, rewind. 0 to 7 years old, our conscious brain, which is our thinking, logical, ego-based mind, is not online. Not till about 7 years old, 8 or 9, give or take. There's various studies on this, and Bruce Lipton talks about this in his book, Biology of Belief, and I've quoted him before. I've seen him before, he's a great teacher. Anyway, back on track. So, 0 to 7 years old, what happens? We are a sponge taking the world around us. We observe and witness and mimic what we learn as the way life is. It's natural because that's the way we are as kids. We are hungry to learn, but we don't do it from a discernment process. We do it from an automatic input process, meaning there's no filters. We take in the world around us, and that's the way it goes in. 7 or 8 years old, give or take, our conscious mind comes online, which is the frontal cortex, which basically becomes the gatekeeper for all the thoughts that come in. And we start filtering everything in. The studies, I think, I may be told off my numbers, but we basically get bombarded by several million inputs a day. If we could take those in, we go insane. So our mind filters them. And what happens is, well, it's not actually our mind, it's a blend of a frontal cortex and another part of our brain, I'm getting all scientific on you, that I remember these pieces, called the reticular activating system, or RAS for short. It's reticular activating system, it's the base of the spine. And that basically is the subconscious programming that we run. For example, you know how young mothers basically will sleep through a fire truck going past the house, but their baby makes one little whimper and be wide awake. That happens, by the way, because you didn't know this. Or if you're looking at cars, this is an easy one for most of us, and live in Los Angeles especially. If you're looking at certain cars, like you're going shopping and you go, what car do you want? Well, so maybe you're looking for a black Lexus. And suddenly you see them all over the street. That everywhere you look, there's a black Lexus. You see it on this street, that other street. How does that happen? Basically, what's happening is your focus, your reticular activating system, is actually noticing things that you didn't notice before. For example, then, if you're wherever you're in your environment, let's throw another one at you. If you look around your environment where you're sitting, or where you're standing, or where you're watching this, you're looking around in the outside, not on the screen, but outside of this. Look for something yellow. And if you see anything, great. If you want something in the comments, feel free to do that too. Or let me say, don't look for something red. It doesn't make a difference to say see it or don't see it, you're going to see it. But you didn't see it necessarily consciously before. This is you tuning in your reticular activating system, which is in the base of the spine, base of the head, base of the brain, somewhere in there. Again, I'm not a scientist, I'm giving you what I've learned. That becomes your filter system. And so every day, millions of things are coming at you, but you have a filter that filters out most of what's coming at you because you only filter what you focus on. And this, by the way, is a game changer when you get it. When you get the understanding that you focus what you comes through, you then have a much smaller pile of stuff. It's like having an email filter for everything. And this is the thing. All that email that comes in a junk folder, you probably ignore. But if you had to look at it every day, it would take half your day up. If you have accounts like my email accounts. That's the same thing that's happening with all your input, all that stuff that's coming through your senses. Because you're taking stuff in through, you're hearing so much stuff that you're ignoring, you're just not aware of it, because you're ignoring it. That's the programming. So, in comes to relationship, bring it back to the original topic that I started with, attempting to bring it full circle. There are times that you may be thinking about relationship through a limited viewpoint because you're not expanding your viewpoint bigger. And that's a whole different place than I plan on starting, but that's where I'm ending. But the realization is that emotional expression comes from your thoughts too. So I gave you like totally separate pieces of training, but that's what I'm giving you now is the teachings today. So my question I'll ask again, which I said at the beginning, is when it comes to relationship, when it comes to love, do you think about it or do you feel about it? And if you feel about it, do you really feel about it or do you process emotion about it? I'm not going to give the answers because I don't actually have them right now, but I'm giving you this to think about. As they say, was it an NBC? There's one to think on. Let me just throw that into your mind to consider that one as a topic. I may come back to this tomorrow. I actually want to do a quick broadcast tonight, which has already gone longer than I planned. Yes, it did. But I wanted to make sure it got into your mind about this idea about what is it you can actually think about and then move down into your feelings, and actually even better, to actually feel in your heart the connection of love. When you can actually connect into, here we go, that's what the piece I was waiting for. When you can connect into your heart and actually feel the vibration of love that resides there, you will actually discover a different way of relating to people, a different way of relating to yourself, and a different way of being in relationship in all different ways. So your homework, yes, I'm giving you homework, is to spend time. I've done this before in other processes, but when I say look in the mirror and do the 5 minutes looking into your own eyes, telling yourself you love yourself, this is a little different. Take 5 minutes sometime during the day, maybe right after this broadcast, and spend time putting a hand on your heart, connecting into that place, and just breathe. In fact, I'm going to give this to you. This is something that I was at Greg Braden's talk on Saturday at Agape, and I want to give you this as a topic, as a way to play with this. So, here's your homework. Hand on heart, or connect to your heart, tap your heart, connect to it, put your hands there, somehow so you connect your heart inside. Breathe slowly, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. That's step 2. Step 3 is to bring to mind something that you're grateful for, that you appreciate, that you care about, or you have compassion for. Any one of those 4 things, or any combination of those 4 things. Do that for 5 minutes. Just be present to that energy, that feeling, that tone. When you've done that, or as you're doing that, at the same time, if you wish to, or at the end of that 5 minutes, bring into that space someone that you're either in relationship with or the vision of what you want to have in a relationship. And let that feeling float in that space you've created. Do that every day. Do it for 5 minutes. You will be absolutely amazed at what will happen in your life. If you're in a relationship now, you do that with your partner internally, not saying do it with them physically, but you might want to have them do it at the same time. It will paradigm shift your relationship. It will bring you closer like you've never believed before, never known before. And I'm giving this exercise props to Greg Braden, who I saw Saturday. His new book, by the way, is called Human by Design. And I think the exercise is in the book, but he talks about it on Saturday. If you're single, you do that. It'll actually put you in a more of a ready state to actually attract an amazing relationship. So there's your homework. And that, my friends, is that. Thank you for watching and being here, by the way. Thanks for the comments from my friends who I saw on the call. I saw you in there. Thank you. This is my daily Facebook Live, number 165. Yes, there's a lot of these out there. So recap for those of you who have not known my broadcasts, you can find them on my personal page, but more easily on my business page because I keep them there more collectively, as well as on my website, which is barryselby.com, under the video blog, and also on my YouTube channel. If you have questions about love and relationships, you want help, you can direct message me over social media or go to my website and click on the consult or let's chat button on my website, which is again is barryselby.com. If you have any ideas and topics, you can message me those over social media as well. And if there's somebody you think should see this, please share it with them. They might get some value out of it. And with that, I say thank you. Take care of yourselves, as always, because you deserve it. And I'll be back again tomorrow with another broadcast on another topic in the area of love and relationships. Have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.